Hello everyone, today I'll be reviewing the newly released BV8900. This is a Blackview phone that I purchased on AliExpress, and I got it in about 2 weeks from the release date. So this was released at the end of June, and I was able to get the phone within a couple of weeks, so pretty fast shipping for coming from China. I'm in the USA. Now this phone does work in the USA on my system. I'm actually using Tello, and for Tello I need the B2, B4, and B12 bands. So if you want to use this phone in the US, check your bands to make sure this phone will work for you. Okay, now one of the features this phone has is the FLIR, the infrared camera, and I'll be putting a video with that at the end of this video. So I've already opened and set up this phone, but I want to do a little unboxing. Okay, so I've already set the phone up, but out of the box, this setup includes the phone. Okay, and it includes a charger. Now this is a USB-C charger, which is USB-C on both ends. So it has a USB-C on this end and a USB-C on this end. So be aware of that. If you, so you'll need a way to charge this with that type of charger. So this is a newer setup. You might need to get a charger that has the regular USB on the other end if you're going to plug that into a regular United States wall outlet. And of course it includes a European standard charger. And so you also have this this manual here and a little sheet that shows you about your FLIR camera. Okay, so neat little setup, nicely packaged from my seller. And again, I got this from a good seller. He shipped very quickly, and I'll put a link down below. Okay, so moving on, this phone has 8 gigabytes of RAM and then another 8 gigabytes of virtual RAM. So supposed to be 16 gigabytes of RAM, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Now I ordered this camera, this phone, as a secondary phone for my own personal use. Okay, this is going to be used for a hotspot for me on Tello, and Tello is a great system if you want just a hotspot phone. So that's why I ordered this. I wanted something rugged. I like rugged phones, and this is a very heavy phone. Very heavy, solid, rugged phone. This is a brick, okay, and it has a good feel. And it's a good size. It's really large. It's not something I would personally want to carry around in my pocket. And I carry a 4.5-inch phone for that. So again, this has 16 gigabytes of RAM if you include the virtual RAM. It has a Helio P90 processor. That's an octa-core processor with a 2.2 gigahertz core. Okay, so it has Android 13, the newest system, straight out of the box. A 6.5-inch screen. Okay. 1080 by 2400 resolution with Corning Gorilla Glass. So that's a really nice feature for me. I like rugged things. Okay, it has 256 gigabytes of storage, and that's a really good size storage for this price point. I paid around $250 for this phone, so this is a budget phone. So keeping that in mind, 256 gigabytes is good. You can add a 1 terabyte expansion card, and it has the slot for that right here where you put your SIM card in. So you can add that expansion card here. Okay, the rear camera is 64 megapixel for the main camera and a 5 megapixel auxiliary camera. It has a thermal imaging camera using IR technology and a 16 megapixel front camera. So this is a really good phone. I really like it as far as the specs. Okay, it has a 10,000 milliamp hour battery with 33 watt fast charging available, and that is a nice feature. It does work well. Dual SIM cards are an option. Okay, it has GPS. It has a high sensitivity GPS, which I haven't really tried to see how close we get. What our error is there. Fingerprint and Face ID are available. The fingerprint sensor is tied to this button here somehow. I'm not really sure how that works. I set it up, and I don't use that a lot, so it's not something I would be that familiar with. Okay, so it's very chunky phone. It's a very large, heavy phone for me, but I personally like that feature, and that's what I was looking for in a phone. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this phone on. Now again, I've already got it set up. I'm going to put my pin in. Okay. The screen in general is pretty responsive, so we can move smoothly through the different screens. And I want to demonstrate the sound on this phone. So let's go ahead and just play some random song here. It's pretty good. Does sound a little bit canned, as you would expect from most phones, but it's not too bad. Okay, so I think the sound is pretty good, pretty acceptable. Okay, so I want to run a benchmark for you so that we can, so I want to demonstrate the IR camera. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that here. So I took a video of my cat. So the IR camera works pretty well. Okay, this is my cat. The cat was out on the porch at the time. Alright, so that works pretty well. And now I want to run a benchmark for you to demonstrate the benchmark. So I'm going to go ahead and run this Slingshot Extreme benchmark test that you can download freely from 3D Mark. We're going to go ahead and view this benchmark together. Now, I have to say, this phone is pretty laggy when it comes to gameplay. If you want a solid phone that can simply get you on the internet, that can, you can use your SIM card with in North America, you check your particular provider, but it's working for me. That you can just use for basic apps, I think it'd be great. But you can see that the FPS on this game, on this simulation, is pretty slow. I don't personally play games. I'm not a gamer, so that's not a problem for me. But you can see that this game would run pretty slow. So I don't recommend this for high intensity, high demanding games, okay? But we'll go ahead and finish this benchmark out. Now the screen looks pretty good. I'm using a webcam to make this video, so it isn't really doing it justice. The screen, to me is really bright. It looks really good. Colors are good. The colors are better on the phone than this camera is demonstrating. So, but you can see that the phone is pretty laggy. Alright, and we'll get the benchmarks from this setup, and you'll see that it's not that great as far as gaming. FPS 7.4, 7.5 on this system right here. Alright, 7.8, 6.8. So we're running about 7 frames per second, which is not great, but I don't game, so that's not a problem for me. Okay. This is running at 3.4, 3.3 frames per second. Right around 4. Okay. This particular scene is running at 25 frames per second. So if you have a less demanding game, you may be able to optimize your settings and get it to run acceptably on this phone. So in the end, we see that, I don't know what that overall score of 1311 means, but it has a graphics score of 1160. Graphics test 1, 7.2 FPS, graphics test 2, 3.9. Physics score 2407, I don't really know what that means. It says it runs better than 35% of devices tested, so I'm not really sure what these numbers exactly mean. Let's see if we can get a little bit better view on this. This is comparing to the Realme X7 Pro. Okay, and let's go over to the Xiaomi Mi 10T. And I'm not really, again, that familiar with what these numbers mean, but you can take a look for yourself. Okay. I got a light on here, so it's kind of a glare. Performance monitoring here. CPU clock is 0.8 gigahertz to 2 gigahertz. And I didn't charge my battery last night, so I have mine at 85%. So it's running cool. But the frame rate varies wildly according to what you're running. Okay. So that's our benchmark. I want to go ahead and show you before I go. These are the GPS tools. Okay, so you can see we've got GPS here. So I don't know if there was anything I really wanted to. I'll forget that. Sorry about that. All right, next I want to demonstrate the sensors. Okay. So you can see here that we have most of the sensors, if not all. Okay, we've got the accelerometer, we've got geomagnetic field, we've got orientation, we've got the gyroscope, we've got a light detection, we've got pressure detection. I'm not sure how that actually is read. We've got gravity, we've got linear acceleration, we've got rotation vector, step counter, and I think that does work. Location, we got the battery, time and date, system information, storage information. I don't think we have NFC. Okay, we got microphone, of course, and information on the cameras. So we have most of the sensors that you're going to need, and plus the IR camera. So overall, I would say this is a solid phone. If you're looking for something that you just want to use as, a rugged phone that's really, solid, going to give you a long lifespan. Okay. One thing I forgot to mention was there is an FM radio app. I'm not sure if the hardware is actually available on the phone for that. Apparently it is, but there's no 3.5mm audio port on this phone. So I'm not sure if you have to plug in some headphones here. I'm not sure into the USB-C port, but it says you have to plug in the headphones to use as a radio antenna, and unfortunately I have no idea how to do that. Okay, so there's no 3.5mm port, and that's one of the reasons I ordered this phone, because I thought it said that it did have one, but it does not. So alright, thanks for watching. I'm not really a professional phone reviewer. I just wanted to get this phone review out there in case anybody was interested in this particular phone, since it's brand new as of July 2023, and just give you an idea if it'll work for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.